Okay, hey everybody, welcome to the Vinnicave Dota 2 LAN Grand Final. It's Hans Reborn against Meka.TT. It's a best of 3, but Hans Reborn, coming from the upper bracket, have a 1-game advantage. So they need to win 1, and they go home with the whole kit and caboodle, and Meka.TT need to win 2 back-to-back, not drop a single game, to be able to go home with, the grand prize. But no matter what, the loser is going to be going home with something, and I think that's a combination of cash, a little bit of credit for the net cafe as well, and then a mouse for each player. But we're already straight underway with the game. I'm Basekip, for anyone wondering. I think that should be pretty straightforward. We're going to have Keeper of Light and Darkseer as the bans for Hans Reborn, and Meka.TT going to start us off with a ban on the Batrider. And there are still plenty of heroes that are worth a ban at this very last spot, so I think C2 are going to have to just pause for a second and see where we're going to be headed. There's still a Magnus, there's still a Wisp, and there's still a Nyx as well, who has been creeping his way up in terms of that ban priority, along with a Nyx Assassin. And all of them very ban-worthy, and all of them might be picked up, and we're going to have a lone Druid ban, so I guess shipping the ball back to Hans Reborn's court and seeing what they want the most. And the answer is actually Lifestealer here, so Meka.TT maybe gonna have to be a little bit worried about Hans Reborn going fairly aggressive here. I like the Nyx pickup. I don't know if Meka necessarily have a Wisp player, but Nyx just overall a very strong carry in today's metagame. So none too surprising to see him picked up here. Wouldn't be too surprised to see a Nyx Assassin here from Meka.TT, possibly Nyx and Shadow Demon. I would be none too surprised to see SD. Always nice to have against Nyx. Cut him around a little bit. So Shadow Demon's the pickup, but it's going to be Magnus as the second pick. Not sure why he slipped my mind, but also great against Nyx. Having a lot of lockdown is just really the only way to deal with him. If you can kite him around for the duration of his rage, if you can silence him, if you can stun him, then he does die in the duration of a solid stun. At least, before he gets some significant farm, before he gets up a heart. So Meka.TT, good response to the very first pick that they've seen so far, though we'll see how it works out for them as we progress further in the draft. So right now, what are we thinking about? I guess thinking about Meka looking for that follow-up support for their Shadow Demon. Probably won't pick it up in this first set. Nyx is going to be taken by Hans and Rubik as well, just to help give a bit of a deterrent to the Magnus. So picked up what could be their 2 supports. Nyx obviously is quite flexible in terms of his farm priority. Can solo a lane quite well, can go mid, and can be down in that support position. So liking the pick so far from Hans. They're looking for, again, potentially a mid. The Nyx could be taking that role. Potentially a second support, and then someone else just to soak up a little bit of farm.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, they've actually got great flexibility right now. Nyx can solo top, doesn't do terribly against Mag. If that's going to be solo versus solo and they want to go aggressive, there's plenty of options there as far as that's concerned. And Meka, the choice here might be to pick up a mid, well, depending on where they want to run Magnus, and I guess depending on how they think Hans are going to run the lanes. You don't really want to have Magnus on the off lane since it's not great, but Meka.TT going to go for the Clockwork here. And a hero that's okay in 1v1 scenarios is okay against Nyx. Obviously not 1v1, but just having the cogs in the fight is a great way to keep him off targets and things like that. But I wouldn't be too surprised to see Hans Reborn going aggressive in this game, running an aggressive tri-lane on bot. And that's going to leave Clockwork up on top in a matchup that might not necessarily favor him that much. He is a hero that once he gets level 6, once he gets level 7, can get a lot done and come and break a stalemate in a tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario. But Meka.TT have really drafted themselves quite heavily into melee right from the start, and I feel like they're leaving themselves a little bit open to Hans Reborn really doing whatever they want on mid. They could run the Nyx, they could still pick up someone like a Queen of Pain, they could still pick up someone like a Puck, heroes that are great in coming down in the same way in dealing with a try versus try situation and tipping the balance one way or the other. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure how to feel about Meka.TT's draft, and there's not necessarily great defensive carries left in the pool either. We might see them forced towards who knows, maybe even a Juggernaut, maybe even a Morphling, just to have somebody who can stick up at the front lines. especially if Hans Reborn are going to be going aggressive, because if the 3 heroes that we see picked already are their aggressive tri lane, that's already a very, very strong aggressive try. And Hans Reborn just targeting a couple of carries out of the pool right now. Looks like Meka.TT just targeting a couple of mids. And yeah, would be none too surprised to see a puck ban here. And then what else? So Meka still looking for that second support. They're going to be able to get at least one of Leshrac plus Lina, unless Hans ban one and then take one, since they've got the first pick coming out of this round. And Meka.TT, well, still 2 bans left, so still have some space to get stuff done, and they're going to actually choose to ban out the Leshrac here. Not sure if they needed to necessarily do that there. And Hans Reborn, I guess, doing a bit of their homework. The last game, Meka.TT did run an Enchantress and worked out to great effect. So just banning that out at the moment. Still no clear indication really of what Hans Reborn are going to be doing with their lanes. Rubik is definitely going to be a support. Probably going to be with the Nyx, and again, wouldn't be too surprised to see the Nyx in that lane as well, though they could still take, they still have room in their lineup to take someone like Lina, run Rubik, Nyx, and Lina, have Nyx as their mid or as their top, matching up against either Magnus or Clockwork. It's not too bad for the Nyx, and then just pick up another strong solo to match up against the other one. So I think lane's fairly straightforward for Hans Reborn right now. And Meka.TT, I don't know if they have a whole lot of options as far as their lanes are concerned. They could try and dodge the tri-lane from Hans Reborn, assuming that they are going to be running one, and then maybe try and head up towards top, leave Clockwork in a 3v1 scenario, which he doesn't actually mind that much. We do see quite a bit of off-lane solo Clock, and he would be in the safe lane soloing against 3. And then Meka.TT could just try and push, force Hans to be spending more time moving than they are farming, and get themselves off to a level advantage in the 3v3, but not sure if that's necessarily going to be able to work out, so yeah. Right now, Meka, I think, with the same questions as far as the lanes are concerned as I have. I mean, if they think Nyx is going to be mid, then Lina definitely makes sense as a ban. So it looks like they think Nyx is going to be mid, but Anti-Mage is going to be the pickup here for Hans. So that's going to be one of those solos. Nyx could still be a support, he could still be a mid, but Hans have that space to, well, one space left for either support or mid. I think Anti-Mage more than likely just going to be soloing up on top. And yeah, shouldn't be a terrible matchup for him. No matter how you cut it, expect some regen to be pooled on him as well. I guess discussing who's the favorites for this, well, obviously Hans Reborn have come from the upper bracket, so there's that. But also, you know, we've got a bunch of X and 9 players and people who've won Tide's Wrath and some fairly big names in the Australian Dota community on the team. So definitely the favorites, and with only one game to win, it's an uphill battle for Meka.TT. But we'll see. We'll see. They're gonna be, maybe they will show me.
10 seconds
And hopefully put up a good fight regardless, give us an exciting game. And Slarda are going to be taken by Meka.TT, so they go even heavier on the melee. It's nice to have the minus armor against the Anti-Mage, the bash fairly good as well, and minus armor not half bad against Nyx either, but not a hero that copes that well in tri-lane versus tri-lane. I mean, without a reliable escape like Blink or Time Walk or Waveform or you know, anything like that, all of the popular carries at the moment have some form of escape or evasion or, you know, some way to get the hell out. I mean, Nyx, he's got magic immunity, Juggernaut has magic immunity, Lone Druid doesn't really have anything, but once he gets level 6, he's obscenely tanky and you need to pretty much bring 3 heroes to kill him. And Hans Reborn looks like Nyx is going to be heading mid with a Venomancer to round off the lanes, so they've got some great kill potential, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see them going in at level 1, potentially down towards bot. Though Meka.TT, no slackers really in the level 1 fight either, and right now we're just looking for that last support for them. I mean, we've already seen a Venomancer, someone that we don't see that much of, so I think scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit for supports right now. It might just be a Jakiro, I want to say, quite defensive, and I think Meka.TT realize that they are going to be aggressively tri-laned against, and they don't really have the tools to try and erase Hans Reborn 3v1, 3v1
seconds
on,
remaining.
I guess, the wrong lanes. But Bane's going to be the choice, so a lot of lockdown. The one weird thing with the Bane in 3v3 is that you effectively don't get to choose who you Nightmare. The enemy team really chooses who's going to end up Nightmare, especially when you've got two ranged heroes. Bane's nice to have against Snakes, but Rubik is there as well, so a Stolen Fiend's Grip could really be sort of throw a spanner in the works. So we'll see how this works out. We'll see how this works out. But anyway, getting into the game, over on Hans Reborn, we're going to have Sicko or Shaitan playing Anti-Mage. Owly is going to be on Rubik. Bertha on Nyx Assassin. Risk is going to be playing Lifestealer. And Lippy will be on Venomancer. Over on Meka.TT, we have Fingerface playing Clockwork. We've got Oranges playing Bane. C2 is going to be on Shadow Demon. Lilypie playing the Slardar, and that leaves Nycotic to play the Magnus. And looks like we might be mixing things up a little bit as far as lanes are concerned. For Mecha, might actually be some duo mid between Slardar and Shadow Demon. We've got two heroes making their way up towards top right now between Bane and Clockwork, and Nycotic, I guess, expecting the tri lane. Yeah. And what have we got going on? Just good luck, have fun. Good luck, have fun. Good sportsmanship.
30 seconds.
But yeah, apparently Lily not feeling super confident in her Slardar skills, but we'll see as this game progresses. So Hans Reborn definitely going for the aggressive tri lane. They're just waiting up here on the hill. There's a smoke picked up on Owly as well, so there's the potential to make some rotations happen and get some ganks out. Just keep an eye out for our 0-minute rune. Shaitan has been pooled a little bit of regen so that he can pick up this poor man's shield for what he was expecting was a 1v1 against Clockwork, but looks like it's not going to be the case, and Fingerface, right from the start, going to be cogsing up the creeps to try and pull the wave equilibrium all the way back, so nice little play. I've never actually seen people standing right on top of the spawn and then cogsing and then killing this cog so that all the creeps walk around. But should definitely leave the lane equilibrium in a nice spot, and going for a second cogs now, while Oranges continues to block. Shaitan's going to come up with a haste, but as two heroes are revealed on mid, we're going to have a quick pause from Bertha. A reminder that these teams are at LAN. I'm not sure why I'm streaming with delay. There's not really any point, given that they're at LAN and they shouldn't really be able to take advantage of it. But anyway, I am behind 2 minutes of delay, for anybody wondering. So it's 3v1 at bot, it's 2-on-1 on mid. Should be quite good for Meka.TT here. Lilypie off to a good start in terms of farm, and Shaitan just zipping his way around right now. Looks like maybe just going to start running some pulls, try and get the lane equilibrium back to a position that he's more happy with. And Owly's going to come across to make it a 2v2 on mid, so Meka.TT, I guess, defining the lanes a little bit better to start things out, and working out quite well for them at the moment. I think things were going to get dicey if it was going to be Bane, Shadow Demon, and Slardar up against the tri lane that Hans had to start. So Owly just throwing out a little bit of harassment. Fingerface off to a pretty good start in terms of farm up on top. Shaitan still not able to get a single point of experience just yet. Orange just doing a good job of just driving him back and actually going for a really early point in Enfeeble, just to try and shut down this farm. So not letting Shaitan have any fun whatsoever up on top, and trying to last hit with only 28 damage is not going to be a great it's going to be a good exercise for him, but not really going to leave him with that much farm, as you can see. So Hans, they're going to choose to bring Lippy up towards top. We've already got a stacked camp here. So he's going to be able to start running some pulls, keep the wave underneath the tower, and hopefully just get that valuable XP in the hands of Shaitan. So lanes now forming up a little bit better for Hans, but they've spent the time, they've spent the gold to move things around, and that's time that Meka.TT aren't unhappy spending farming. So like the laning decisions from them at the start of the game. Just have a quick check in on the warding. Fairly stock standard from both teams. You can see that Hans were really expecting the tri lane to be on bot. They've gone in, they've warded up the pull. Got some vision up on the rune, and yeah, we're fully set to try and smash a tri-v-tri, but Meka.TT not having any of it. So it looks like it's just going to be farming positions for a bit. Hans not really going to be unhappy with a long game either between Anti-Mage and Nakes. as their carries. Slardar does fall off quite a bit without really significant farm. So, while Meka have made a nice move in terms of stalling the game out a little bit, they're still going to have to try and get things done in the mid game. When Clockwork has some levels, you know, when Magnus has his blink, the onus is definitely on them to be trying to keep the game rolling, keep the towers going down. But for now, as we settle into the lanes, Risk doing a pretty good job against Narcotic on bot, but the other two duo lanes for Meka.TT working out fantastic, at least for the moment. And looks like Sutu needs a pause. I'm just going to disconnect from the game. So, again, they are at LAN. That does mean, I guess, slightly unfamiliar hardware and things like that. Hopefully we'll see the game resume soon. I'm not actually at the event, so I have no clue what's going on. Sorry about that, guys. Can't give you any updates. Having a quick check in on our graphs. It was in favor of Meka.TT, at least for the first 2.5 minutes of the game. But yeah, it's now swinging back towards Hans. And a similar story for the gold. So this is the minor advantage that Meka.TT bought themselves, at least to start the game off. But I mean, Risk. Who is that? I guess that's Bertha drawing on the map, and C2 has now reconnected. Narcotic expressing the fact that he didn't want to meet Risk on mid, but has met him at the bot regardless. And Ali just saying, go whenever you're ready. And looks like we're going to have an unpause. So none too long a pause, fortunately enough for us. So Fingerface, he's got himself a Bazzi picked up, a little bit more control over the lane, though it is pushing quite heavily for Hans right now. Looks like they might have lost control just a little bit. It is pretty much a single wave, but yeah, it is pushing quite heavily right now. And we've actually got Oranges now making his way down towards bots. They're going to be leaving Fingerface on top. We've got musical chairs as far as lanes are concerned. Lily going to try and throw out the stun, but it gets lifted. Now stunned up as well. Gets the crush, but fairly low. And Ali still wants to fight. Titu's still here. The rocket's going to fly in, however, and Bertha fairly low. Not that many levels up in the Shadow Poison just yet. Only level 3 on Titu. So not really doing too much. And there's the stun. There's going to be a lift as well. Back into tower range. Will this creep die? Not in time for it to get any pot shots off. It looks like Lily's going to be fine. Burn, however, will be claimed by Bertha. Double damage up for him. So still no first blood just yet. We've still got people bouncing from lane to lane. The Shaitan now not feeling pressured by the Bane and having slightly more than 30 base damage is going to be able to get some... Starts to get his CS up on top. And Risk now the one sort of forced to sit back once Oranges rotates down. So the Bane pickup doing work, at least to start the game out. Though it hasn't really slowed the Hans carries too much. Still getting about 3 CS a minute, which is definitely not slacking. And Fingerface, without anyone else to back him up, really forced to play defensively up on top. However, Risk, they choose to go. I'm not sure if this is really what they want to be doing. There's the Rage. Narcotic still has a Skewer away, but needs to be careful that Risk doesn't get in front of him. So Sal's going to pop. A bit of an awkward overall engage. Just some regen being traded back and forth, though. Risk not winning overall in the regen race, so he's actually down at a 3rd HP. And the Courier's in use, so just going to have to play defensively at least for a little bit. And at least until he gets level 6. So just sitting back at the edge of experience range right now. But yeah, still a very, very patient game from both teams. Disruption goes out on Bertha. He doesn't actually have any mana right now. Lily's going to come back in. They get the crush. Bertha in a little bit of trouble. It will go down. First blood drawn by C2. And Bertha goes in really aggressive without a Carapace to get himself out of there. So nice little play by Meka. Looks like Lily was just considering backing out, but comes back in. And a fairly straightforward first blood for them. 6-minute earn, also going the way of Meka.TT right now. And as we pass 6 minutes, we'll keep an eye out for a little bit of rewarding to be happening from both sides. Yep. So we've got Tsutsu with wards up and ready to go. Lily going to be left alone for a second on mid. So again, going to have to play quite defensively. Risk has level 6 now. Able to pick up the infest. I think he got some... It looks like he got some regen ferried out on the Courier, so able to come back in a little bit, but all it gets him is a couple of nukes to the face. and another Enfeeble. However, Shaitan all the while is just farming away on top. Looks like it's just going to be straight towards a Battle Fury for him. No big surprises. And 32 CS, the benchmark right now. Meka.TT ready with his arcanes. Picked up only 7 minutes in. So making good time as far as that's concerned. And hopefully going to be able to get some stuff done with this reverse, since Fingerface, while he is getting some levels up on top, having a pretty tough time. Pings go up, but looks like Han's just going to back themselves out. And I was looking out for the rewarding, so Ali just a bit of Rune Ward. C2. They know where Ali's going, and Bertha now alone on mid does have enough mana, however, to pop the Carapace, so should be absolutely fine. And creep Equilibrium is all the way up on the hill, so pretty safe for the moment. Though Ali does have a smoke, so could look to enlist Lippy to try and get something done on mid. Lily now stunned. Ali's got a lift, but no Fade Bolt. The defensive disruption goes out as well, and Lily's going to be absolutely fine just to walk away. A little bit of bottle crowing happening at the same time. Risk has his phase boots finished up. Still not a whole lot of anything really happening in this game, but again, I don't think Hans are really unhappy with the game situation right now. Fingerface not getting that much done. Yes, Magnus is farming down at bot, but it's in exchange for an anti-mage, and I think Hans just overall have this more solidly in the late game. So the clock is still ticking for Meka.TT to try and get stuff done, and I mean, effectively their carry, Lily, doesn't really have that much right now. Carapace is going to pop, Patience from Lily, but TP support coming in from Lippy. It's going to put an end to anything on mid. Bertha walks up, almost level 6, and going to get hit by the amplified damage. But still not a whole lot of anything happening there on mid. Fingerface, however, in trouble on top, almost out of mana. Owly goes for a bit of a body block, and Shaitan does have the mana void ready to go, but Fingerface doesn't actually have that much mana. And not going to go for the dive, so Fingerface, just with the battery assault, manages to get himself out there. Bertha does have 6 on mid, but hardly enough mana to really get anything done right now. Does have Arcane Boots finished up, so I think just wants to soak up this experience before going to grab those. And Lippy just off to the side. And Owly now with the smoke, going to be making his way across to mid, so hopefully going to be able to get something done here. I think a lot of this is going to come down to C2's positioning and whether or not he's going to be in a good spot to be able to defensively disrupt Lippy when shit hits the fan. Pardon my French. And Lily does it a crush on creeps. Ali's still just waiting off to the side. The Birth has gone all the way up and around to grab some arcanes. So looks like nothing is... Well, maybe nothing's going to come of this smoke. I think it's going to wear out before they can get in position, and there is a fairly defensive Radiant Ward just sitting here waiting, so Ali's going to have to just walk around. Bertha now with the Vendetta, and Lily trying to guess the 10-minute rune. Bertha's still here. There's a Vendetta, there's a Crush, however. No lift, but a Fade Bolt. Lily still giving chase. Invis rune there, but picked up by Bertha. Going to be able to pop that one, and Lily really wants this one. Gets a second Crush, gets the kill. However, Lippy now just chasing down C2. What's going to happen here? Bertha sitting on top with the Invis. Don't know if he has enough damage. Going to go for the stun. Shaitan now down onto the low ground. And Lily still trying to make it out, but the Mana Void back off cooldown. Going to get that kill as Lippy with Poison Ticks manages to kill off C2 behind the tower. So the overall exchange 2 for 1. A bit of an all-over fight there, but... And Bane is apparently now level 6. As Risk is announcing in chat. And Orange is... Nope, that's not happening at all. It's not level 6. I'm not coming to Fiend's Grip anyone right now. Bertha throws a stun on mid. A little bit unlucky on the timing there. And this have to be pretty cautious. Owly just waiting in the wings. And Risk, while things have been happening mid, looks like he's been able to duck in and get a little bit more farming done. Though not a whole lot. But it is... Well, just sort of from how Meka.TT reacts from Risk running in. Might be able to tell that the supports are away, and yeah, Risk now going a little bit more aggressive. Meka.TT already with his Blink Dagger picked up. Time is actually flying. I mean, last time we checked in at bot, it was about 7 minutes in. Arcanes were finished, and now we're almost at 12. Blink up, and again, this is one of those big timings that Meka.TT need to be making use of. And trying to get some towers down, trying to get some stuff done. Since I still think Hans are going to be quite happy just to sit back, let Shaitan farm up. Let him split push and then take it towards the late game. And what have we got going on in terms of items? I'll just have a quick check in. So Lily just has some treads finished up. We've got some arcanes up on Fingerface, probably going to be making his way towards a mech as that next big item. And 3 up on top. They're looking for Shaitan, but they need a perfectly timed reverse after a disruption, I think, to be able to bring him down. And Meka.TT just blinks in super aggressively there. They were walking straight past a dire observer ward, so weren't really going to be able to get anything done there. Orange just comes up as well, but Shaitan doesn't want to get anywhere near the lane for the moment. And Heroes, in the end, just going to rotate out. So Meka.TT still yet to get anything done with this Blink Dagger just yet, though again it's only been about a minute so far. And fairly defensive warding from Hans as well. I mean, obviously that lane ward probably saved Shaitan's life, so never discount the, well, I guess never discount the efforts of supports. Bertha has a haste on mid, Carapace on cooldown for a little bit, so just staying back right now. Mecha come in, looking for a bit of a push. Fingerface still just trying to soak experience on top, not quite level 6 just yet. Very unfortunate. I mean, they don't really need the initiation that badly since they have the blink up on Magnus, but levels are going to be important, and Lily in trouble at bot, going to go down. Meka.TT does manage to get the skewer backwards, reverse polarity thrown out as well. They want Bertha dead, 1 for 1, but with a bunch of ultimates thrown out by Meka.TT. And sorry guys, not sure where my map awareness was there. So Lily just gets picked off by a 2-man gank between Risk and Bertha. Orange just getting himself a little bit of farm up on mid, and Owlie's going to rotate down towards bot. 14-minute rune is just about to spawn. They don't have any vision on the runes right now, so could make a bit of a difference though. We'll have to see, and hopefully we've got some wards coming out somewhere for Hans. They are running a little bit blind right now, just with lane vision, but it's sort of symptomatic of the slightly more defensive team and I guess the team. Well, not even really the slightly more defensive team. I mean, they're trading evenly at the moment, but again, in terms of overall strategy, it does sort of favor them to try and take this late. And Fingerface, with this sentry ward that was actually placed earlier and dewarded this lane ward, spots out Bertha rotating in, and that's going to be a wasted Vendetta. So the gank that could have been unfortunately denied by this warden. I mean, if Hans had really been paying attention, might have known that there was still a little bit of a sentry left and could have seen that something was going to happen. But for the moment, experience and gold both pushing out in their favor. So Meka.TT 30 seconds away from that reverse polarity, and again, Meka.TT, it's got to be go, try and get some stuff done, because if this game goes long, it's not going to be great for them. Slaughter is just not. Yes, when he's 6 slotted, he's a fairly good carry, but it's just the difficulty in getting there, especially with no flash farming abilities compared to, say, someone like Anti-Mage, or even just Nakes, who can afford to go and kill off some Ancients, kill off the jungle, can keep farming, while Slaughter doesn't really have those same options available. And if Slaughter is going to get to that 6-slotted state, then it's going to be off. It's going to be off taking teamfights. It's going to be off killing heroes and making use of how ridiculous amplified damage is early, and just how strong Slithering Crush is as well. And I mean, speaking of things that Mecha haven't really been able to make use of just yet, and as Risk nicely pointed out for us, there is level 6, now level 7 up on Oranges. He's got maxed out Brain Sap, he's got the first point up in Fiend's Grip. He is ridiculously strong right now. This is one of the strongest points in the game for Bane. He can solo kill a lot of heroes with +1 of almost any hero. Well, with +1 almost anyone, they can kill off a bunch of Hans's lineup, but just not able to get anything done just yet. And Owlie able to get a steal off on that amplified damage, though hasn't thrown it out on anyone just yet. So no extra vision there. Do have some wards up, but still fairly defensive from the Hans side. Risk is just going to duck over to the Ancients, again, continuing that farm. Since we are 16 minutes in, though it doesn't necessarily feel like it, I'm going to switch us over to net worth, since denies aren't really relevant at this point in the game. So as you can see, Shaitan leading Meka.TT, double damage up, he's got that reverse ready to go, he's got his blink. Again, I think Meka.TT, it needs to be let's try and get something done. Let's try and get a smoke. Let's try and push down a tower. They're very strong right now. They've got powerful ultimates. They can take a team fight. I mean, yes, they are sort of fighting into a venomous gale, but Lippy doesn't have a ton of mana for the moment. And I mean, it's a fairly defensive build from Lippy as well. Just choosing to max out the Plague Wards. In comes 2. It's 2-on-2, but Bertha has already popped the Vendetta. He wants his kill. But looks like Fingerface just going to back out. So Lippy, I guess, deciding better of trying to go for that fight up on top. Again, defensive lineup. They don't necessarily need to take fights until Meka.TT bring them to them. And for the moment, looks like Meka fairly happy just to sit back. They might be waiting around for a Blink Dagger on Lily as well. Just as that secondary initiation. But again, I really feel like the clock is ticking and just haven't gotten things done with their obscenely powerful ultimates that have reasonably long cooldowns. And Risk just throws out a casual infest on bot, keep the wave pushed out, keep himself topped off. Bertha comes in on mid, and if there's anyone on Hans who's been trying to get stuff done, it has been Bertha, but we've had a couple of unfortunate vendettas towards top. Kills that could have been, but just not quite working out. But, I mean, Hans still making plays, despite having those 2 fairly late game carries in their arsenal. And looks like Meka are just waiting around for a Blink Dagger up on Lily. We've got Amplify damage being traded in both directions, and Nycotic, he's going to try and TP. Oh, okay, so Bertha sees the beginning of the TP in the fade time of the invis, I think, throws out a random stun, and manages to catch Nycotic, who is now going to have to limp his way back to base. It's a little bit unfortunate for him. We might even see the mech being picked up by Mag instead of Fingerface, though 1.4k gold up on the clockwork, not doing too badly for the moment. Lily comes in on mid, but gets straight stunned up. It's a stunt in either direction. Lily now completely out of mana, lift up into the air, and just gets straight dropped onto C2. But still no kills. We're 19 minutes in with only 6 kills going out as the graphs continue to push out in Hans's favor. And Shaitan, despite the hard couple of early minutes that he had against the Enfeeble, is now easily leading the farm board. Battle Fury finished up as well, so just going to be zipping his way through the jungle. And, well, okay, I'm not sure if I should point out the tread switching that you should be doing with Anti-Mage. I think Shaitan's going to do it, so I guess we can just watch. But obviously, Agi for damage. Whenever he's going to blink, he's going to switch it over to In. And just do that through the whole jungle, clear the whole thing out in less than a minute. They'll probably just stay in these camps and keep farming out the top lane as well. And Han's just making better use out of the map right now. I've got Risk farming bot, ducking his head into the Ancients, he clears them out, goes back, gets farm bot. And that's really the source of this experience and gold difference right now. Meka.TT are getting as much as they can out of the lanes. They've got people in lanes pretty much all the time, but it's just they're getting outdone by that little bit of jungle farm, that little bit of ancient farm, and Shaitan going hard on Fingerface on top, just going to pop the cogs, keep himself alive. Now level 7, has that hookshot up as well. And Meka.TT sitting on top of this reverse polarity, still sitting on top of this Fiend's Grip. We've seen neither of them used, and I don't know, I think it might just be let's wait for the next item syndrome. So, you know, the call goes out, let's get something done, let's do something, and the response back is, well, I'm only 200 gold away from Blink, let's wait for that. And so you wait for the Blink. And then the next call comes out and says, okay, we've got the Blink, we've got our first Blink, let's get something done. And the response comes back, well, we've almost got our second Blink, so let's wait around for that one. And then we get that Blink, and then hopefully the call comes out again, let's get something done, we've got the Blink, we've got a big boost in effectiveness, let's do something, because gold doesn't make you more effective. Gold makes you more effective if you have items and you have a buyback, but it doesn't make your hero stronger, it doesn't make you kill heroes better. Items are what, you know, gets that done. And whenever you get an item, you've got a huge boost in power that you didn't have before, and it means that you can use that advantage, gain a new marginal advantage by killing someone, and I mean that's the core concept of snowballing. You get more items, you get stronger, you kill more people, you get more items, you know, so on and so forth. So Meka.TT now going for something. They're going to go for a smoke up and around on mid. Bertha, however, the only one sitting underneath the tower for the moment. Shaitan still just jungling up Lippy and Risk, perhaps a little bit too far away, but TP Scroll's ready to go. They're going to be able to get the Skewer back on Bertha. Lilypie throws out the Crush. Do they have any anti-invis? However, the Vendetta's going to pop the lift back onto C2. Gale connecting on Oranges as well, trying to get his way out of the tower range right now, and C2's going to opt to loop up and around. So Meka just going to go straight onto the tower, TP up towards top by Fingerface, and Cogs popped as well. Shaitan wants to try and make this a 1v1 trade as far as towers are concerned, and not a whole lot that Fingerface can do to stop this. But mass TPs come in, and tower does go down mid. Dangerous TPs from Meka.TT. Could have potentially been punished. There was a lift up on Ali. There was a Crush, but looks like he was perhaps just a little bit too far out of range. Tower not quite in deny range. Risk is going to push in at bot, making his presence felt. And the split push from Hans, a good response to what was going on. In comes Lily. They get the Purge out. Crush unfortunately misses. Nicely timed there by Risk. Gale clips C2, but nothing up on Lily. Still running around, but now completely out of mana. The reverse goes out on 3, however, Narcotic stunned up. Ali comes back in. He reverses out on 2. The Carapace. Perfect timing there. Lily almost dead. Wants to try and finish off Risk. Just trading blows right now. The stun goes out. Bertha keeps Risk up. They get that kill. And overall, everybody is quite low, but not a whole lot of deaths just yet. Bertha wants this one. Bender's going to be able to pick it up. Ali freed from the Nightmare. And now throws out the grip. Hookshot comes in as well. Bertha, will he go down? Yep, Brain Sap. Gonna finish him off. So at the end of the scuffle, still even in terms of kills. However, Shaitan, without a care in the world, has just been pushing on top. Gets the tower down. And it was a buyback invested as well from Lily in that fight. So not quite as even as perhaps it looks in the end. So, yeah, we've got some action going on, but Hans continue to trade evenly. Shaitan already with another tower taken up on top. That's Manta style finished 23 minutes in. His farm is not stalled in the slightest. And Meka.TT, I mean, I don't know if they've got a whole lot left to try and wait around for, unless it's going to be DPS items or a BKB up on Lily. They've got mech, they've got 2 blinks, they've got levels. And I think right now they need to just be trying to get things done before Anti-Mage gets too far out of hand. As always, I guess a reminder that this is a best of 3, but there's a 1-game advantage to Hans, so they only need to win 1 to go home with the grand prize. Meka.TT, unfortunately for them, need to win 2 in a row, 2 in a row to walk away with the grand prize, but they are at least guaranteed second place if things go south. Bertha with a Blink Dagger now finished up. We've got a Basher up on Risk as well. And just, I mean, item after item after item for Hans right now. Continue to push out this gold lead. Continue to push out this experience difference. Almost 12k at this point, and a 7.5k gold swing. They've got a mech finished up on Lippy. Ali's just got himself an urn. Just been doing support duty, buying up the majority of the wards. And right now, I think Hans have to feel very comfortable with the position that they're in this game. And again, it's a question of Hans having the better farming heroes. They're getting more out of the map. And Meka.TT, they've got, you know, better fighting heroes, better ganking heroes, but just haven't been doing it. So a little bit unfortunate for them. Though we've got some action happening. We've got a smoke out from Oranges and C2 making their way down towards bot. No TP up on Lily, no TP on Fingerface. It's a walk for them, and I don't think the smoke is really going to find anyone that's actually walking straight into more or less for Bertha. A little bit further away, but the Blink Dagger to close the gap. And Fingerface walking down. But Lily just going to stop off for a little bit of farm on mid, and it looks like the smoke is going to amount to nothing in the end. Meanwhile, Shaitan poking his head back out of the jungle to grab a few more creeps, and the defensive pings go out from Meka.TT. And just a rocket to scout at Roshan right now. But yeah, still fairly defensive Dota from both sides, and again, I don't think Dota that Meka.TT can afford to be playing. Lily is now working her way towards that BKB, so no big surprises there. It does help out in the team fight potential, at least to some degree. But again, I mean, Meka just haven't really been able to get that much out of their other heroes. Oranges is now making his way towards a blink, so we're going to have even more initiation I think Meka.TT have all the initiation they could possibly want. They've got a hook shot, they've got a blinking Slardar, they've got a blinking Magnus, and they're going to have a blinking Bane fairly soon as well. They've got a gem picked up by Narcotic, always nice to see. Maybe signals signals a little bit more aggression. Nice control over the Roshan pit, and prevents Bertha from doing anything too sneaky when it's a full 5-on-5 engagement. But Shaitan is already at the racks up on top, and this is going to require attention. Pops out the Manta style, and a tier 1 for a tier 3 is not a trade that they want to make. Dire Structures, Fortification pops. It's only Lily left on the tower. Don't know if she's going to be able to get this one. Owlie's walking straight in, and Narcotic, mana burnt out Bertha, kind of awkwardly pops out of the Vendetta. But just going to be able to blink himself up onto the high ground, and with just 2 heroes, Hans force everybody back and stop the group up and push for Meka.TT down at bot. Meanwhile, Risk pushing in on mid, and Hans just, getting more done around the map. Orange is going to TP in on mid, only 100 gold away from that, 200 gold, sorry, away from that blink dagger. But Hans, it's a 1-2-3 punch. Shaitan pushes top. Meka.TT 1 step behind in the TP race, so Shaitan's already top, he forces TPs, he leaves. And then everybody TPs in, so Risk goes mid, and 1 person TPs in, and so he backs off. Though they do get the tower. And then once 3 TPs have been spent on the west side of the map for Meka.TT, well, Hans just TP everybody bot and get the tier 1. And it's what happens when, you're a step behind in terms of TPs. When you're the one reacting to the enemy team, they can drag you around the map like this. And Meka.TT with a really obviously signaled push at bot, really setting all of those cogs into motion. And Hans, you can question whether or not they're actually weaker than Meka.TT, but they're doing a great job of evading them and just playing the game on their terms, not taking a team fight that there's even a chance that they could lose. So tier 1 denied at bot, TP's up towards top from Fingerface just because of anti-mage split pushing away. And Narcotic and Oranges rotate their way up as well. We've got the Blink Dagger finished up on Oranges, so there are now, there should now be enough tools to hopefully kill off Shaitan. If not, then full 5-on-5 engagements where Shaitan is present are going to be pretty dicey. So hopefully with these blinks, with the hookshot, they've got 4 heroes who can appear out of nowhere, and hopefully that'll be enough chain stun to be able to bring down the anti-mage at least once, maybe give him pause in this relentless split pushing up on top. And C2, ever a man of action, he's got himself another smoke up, little bit of warding thrown up towards the high ground. But still not a whole lot happening just yet. Orange just jumps in. There's the Fiend's Grip, but Shaitan, he's got a heart up. Burst Polarity thrown out. Narcotic needs to cover that one. Support is coming in. They were able to bring down one. Shaitan still stands his ground, able to blink himself out. Just too tanky. Lippy in from the side. Hits everybody with the Venomous Gale and with the Poison Nova. Gets stunned up, but a stolen stun from Owlie. Lily now in a little bit of trouble. Going to try and run herself out. Fingerface in the middle of the cogs, but it's actually his coffin. And Narcotic's going to go down along with C2. 1 in exchange for 4. And Lily trying to TP! Why didn't she just run? That's going to be the end of her. And that is a 5 for 2, sorry, with a buyback from Bertha. Hans heads straight into the Roshan pit, and Sicko just too tanky to bring down in that fight. I have no idea why Lily was just there on that edge of that tree. Looked like she was, looks like she'd been able to get out home free. Had popped the sprint, didn't look like anyone was really chasing. Maybe considered coming back in. And in the end, a pretty disastrous team fight for Meka.TT, though not with a terrible start. It's just that Shaitan is so tanky now. He's 2.6k health of unkillable anti-mage fury. And Hans now with the gem back up on their side, Risk working his way towards an AC, almost has that one finished. A 3-kill lead for Hans, so for the first time in the game, they're up on kills. Though they have been up on experience and gold for the majority of it. Up 15k as far as gold is concerned, and 20k in terms of experience. And I'll just switch it back over to net worth to I guess, paint a little bit more accurate picture of where we are in this game. We've got a Blink Dagger up on Owly. He's got a Slithering Crush stolen as well, and Shaitan, king of not caring, he's just going to jump straight in. Doesn't care about the illusions. Fingerface runs in, throws at the cogs, buys a bit of space, but does get hit by the Carapace, and down goes Oranges. Narcotic comes in, nice reverse, out on 2. What's the steal from Owly? He got reverse, he's got Blink, he just walks in, throws it out on Fingerface. It's 4 already dead, and Hans just straight onto the racks, looking like nobody has a scratch on them aside from Risk. And he blew the Infest as well, though he still has that Aegis up. Lillipie off to the side. Bertha actually goes down. Goes down to C2 in the end, and Lillipie jumps in looking for Owly, but it's going to be her death as well. Gem on the ground. Looks like Hans do not care. The courier's going to be able to actually come out and grab it. Cheeky plays from Captain Bamboo happening. And Hans, not content with 1 racks, gonna go for 2, and then probably just the game at this point. And there are buybacks up on Meka.TT. Lily has a buyback ready to go. And if there was ever a time to use it, it is most definitely now. The BKB not gonna do too much. Risk! Is he gonna go down to the Fiend Script? He will, but there's still an Aegis up. Oranges slowed down by the Venomous Gale. Shaitan goes to work. Nice Nightmare. Orange is still trying to walk himself out, but one more right click from Shaitan finishes him off. And meanwhile, Risk gets hit by the cogs. Shaitan jumps in to get the very last hit. On C2, though, and gets the last hit on Fingerface as well. So Risk, I guess none too happy there, but kills going the way of Hans all the same. And now an 8-kill lead, up 2 Raxes, and frankly looking fantastic for them. We've got 8k gold up on Sicko. That's 24.5k net worth. For anybody wondering what that is in terms of GPM, that's almost 750 gold per minute up on Shaitan. It looks like he's not done just yet, adding more and more gold to the coffers. And yeah, just not looking great for Meka.TT right now. Lily almost has that next BKB component picked up, but Bertha's just walking straight in, not a care in the world. It's going to get skewered back into the fountain, and therefore will die, but Meka.TT playing things pretty defensively right now, and looks like nobody wants to fight Lippy. Look, this Venomancer doesn't actually have that much backup, but feeling like he has not a care in the world. Gets Nightmared up, there isn't a Fiend's Grip. However, C2 comes out, throws up the Demonic Purge. Where's the backup? Narcotic comes in, but Lippy stands his ground. The Reverse Polarity thrown out just for him. And C2, he's ticking out, but I think he's going to be absolutely fine. Has a Defensive Disruption available as well. Lippy, however, was just the distraction. Shaitan and Risk come straight in down at bot. And Oranges exclaims that he needs points. I think the bracket system for this was a little bit different in terms of how people were seeded. There was a point system. I think it was based on kills or based on time. Again, I only jumped in to cast the grand finals of this. I wasn't following the tournament throughout the day, so I can't 100% clarify on that, but that's my to the best of my knowledge, that's what's going on. Oh, and Owly manages to steal the Fiend's Grip. Lily maybe in a little bit of trouble. Owly goes for the turnaround on very, very low life. Manages to grip up Lily. Orange is now in trouble. He's going to go down. Out pops Risk. Manages to grab that kill. And now the skewer back on Shaitan into the fountain. He's actually going to drop. And Bertha, with the blink away, just barely surviving, throws out a stun. Lily continues to give chase. Blink still a few seconds away. And Owly going to turn around, but doesn't actually have much mana to do anything. A couple seconds of the blink. Jukes up onto the high ground. Jukes back. 2-man stun. Down goes 1. And Lily wants blood, the Ancient already under threat, but in comes Risk. He's going to be able to finish off Lily. Owly with the buyback, with the travels, with the blink and Narcotic lifted up into the air. He's going to go down. Shaitan still giving chase. Divine Rapier in the fountain. That must have been Shaitan's. But they've got it under control. And Narcotic, he's got the cleave. He gets the skewer. But it gets stolen, and that's going to be it. Hans walking away with the grand prize. This was the Vinnicave Dota 2 LAN Grand Finals. It was Hans Reborn versus Meka.TT. I was Baseskip. Hans, they're going home with, I think, 1.1k more or less in prizes. I can verify that. Sorry about this, guys. This is not very organized from me. But I will quickly check the prizes before saying too much more. Anyway, I've been Basecamp. This was, well, I just said what this was. If you guys have any feedback for me as far as my casting, I'd love to hear it. Send me an email at basecampdota@gmail.com or send me a message on Twitch or anywhere that you see the name Basecamp. It all works. Even a tweet would be absolutely fine. And what are the prizes? Because I'm sure everybody is interested. Okay, so first prize is 400 cash, 250 MC gaming credit, and 5 mechanical keyboard. Second prize is 200 cash, 5 mice, and 150 MC gaming credit. So thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been fun. I think that's going to be it for me for tonight. So yeah, hope to see you for future broadcasts.